Taylor Swift is the most hated woman in show business. No. She's actually very beloved and has loyal fans from top to bottom, stem to stern. However, Amy, who is a huge, I think you called a Swiftie, has pointed out a few times in her career that Taylor Swift got it wrong. Now, this might be a lightning bolt of controversy, but we're going to talk about Kanye West, Kim Kardashian,
Scooter Braun, Jake Gyllenhaal.
We're
going into it. We're deep diving.
A whole lot more. So Amy has her topics lined up. She's going to lead this, and I'm going to play the person who doesn't know as much about Taylor Swift, so she's going to educate me, and you can chime in because I have a feeling that there's quite a few people that have a lot of knowledge of Taylor Swift who are going to want to give their opinions. So let's go ahead and check it out and talk about at least 3 times that Taylor Swift got it wrong. Let's kick it off right about now.
Okay, so number 1, and I know this is controversial because it's easy to say that Kanye West is always in the wrong because you know what? He is like 99.99% of the time. However, this one time, I gotta say, maybe I'm not Team Kanye, but I'm at least Team Kim.
Okay.
Let's talk about it. So, Kanye West had this song called Famous.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a concept for it where he was talking about fame and he was kind of doing an art project and he had a whole concept, a whole thing for it. And at the time, him and Taylor had a friendship going on. They were at least sort of trying to work on their friendship. They were talking to each other. They were on friendly terms. They were talking on the phone. And Kanye actually called Taylor before he released this song.
I remember that.
And was like, hey, I have this lyric. I think it's really funny. It's like, I think me and Taylor might still have because I made her famous.
Okay,
it's
stop for a second because does that mean Kanye was inferring that they might have intercourse?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because I made her famous. Because the whole song is about fame. Hollywood and
I made her famous,
and everything. And I made her famous because of obviously their interactions just before when Kanye stormed the stage and said that Beyonce deserved a reward over her.
You're right.
So Kanye calls Taylor, explains the concept of the lyric.
Right.
Taylor, by all accounts, seemingly thinks this is funny. She's down. She's into it. She thinks it's great. They're having a good time.
Go ahead, use the lyric. Thanks for calling me.
Yes. Thanks for calling me. That's awesome. Okay, we're cool friends. Bye-bye. Cool.
Yes.
At the same time, Kanye, of course, because it's Kanye, is filming a documentary of his entire life. So everything that he does has been filmed.
So he's got the receipts. He has the call on record so he can be like,
yes, exactly.
This happened.
So he releases a song. The Swifties, naturally, being very protective of Taylor Swift, and honestly, all of America being very protective of Taylor Swift.
Did you include yourself?
Pile on, and they're like, oh my God, this is the worst thing that he could have possibly said.
Can't believe he said this. It's
awful,
inappropriate.
Awful. It's so terrible. Taylor releases a statement through her publicist, Tree Payne, which is maybe the best publicist in the business, super high paid. She's absolutely incredible, great at her job. But she releases this statement, and it doesn't sound anything like that phone call that Taylor previously had with Kanye.
Okay.
It's just like shocked Pikachu face, like, oh my God, that's so horrible. How dare the misogyny, the victimhood, the you know.
Well, nailed the impersonation.
It was a lot, you know. And everyone felt bad for Taylor that Kanye would be once again bullying her.
Right.
However, they didn't have the full story. So later, of course, because
Kim Kardashian releases the tape.
Had the receipts. She releases these receipts, and again, not in full. She releases the most damning information on her Snapchat after an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and she gets people to go to her,
Go to my Snapchat, I'm going to release the
She uses
receipts.
this to get more followers, to get more business, to hype up her show, to inflate her business. So again, This is a business decision by Kim. I don't think it's a personal decision, but also she is defending her husband, you know?
Okay.
Like her husband at the time, I could only imagine if I saw somebody like being mean to you and I thought
And you're gonna
that
come
that
with
was
the receipts,
unfair, I'm like, oh, no, no, no. I'm going to tell you exactly what went down in that text conversation. 1,000,000% of the time. So I don't blame Kim. And I think a lot of the Swifties think that Kim had this calculated thing to take down Taylor Swift. Taylor has framed this as someone trying to take away her entire career. She said that she was canceled on a global scale. She said that she had to move out of the country. So all of these claims, I think, are a little bit exaggerated.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
They're
think that's
play.
true. It's a sympathy play. It's just like none of those things were true. I do agree with Taylor in the fact that when this went down, everyone was flooding her comments with snake emojis. And they were saying, you know, Taylor Swift is canceled party. They were saying like Taylor Swift is over. And that's horrible to be bullied. You know, I don't agree with any of that. I don't think that we should ever be bullying people, whether it's, you know, a private person.
Don't bully people in the comments.
Yeah. Don't bully people. Don't bully people. Don't bully celebrities. That's a horrible thing to do. However, I don't think anyone was trying to take your career from you. I don't think anyone made you move out of the country. I don't think that those things are true necessarily. And I also...
She didn't get kicked out of the country.
No, that didn't happen. That's demonstrably false. So I do think that it wasn't that serious. And also, what T-Pain and Taylor came up with to combat this is that they decided to say that we weren't lying, we were telling the truth, but we didn't know that Kanye was going to use the B word. We knew that he was going to say, like, Taylor and I might still boom boom because I made her famous, but I didn't know that he was going to say I made that famous. Okay. So that was their counter
as to what they didn't approve of.
Right, to Kim Kardashian's receipts. And they said, no. What we didn't approve of was I didn't know that he was going to call me a B in front of the entire world. Maybe that's fair. Maybe. But also, if that was the truth, why didn't you say that in your first statement?
Right.
You could have easily said that on day one. On day one, you could have said, like, hey, Kanye and I talked about this. I thought it was a really funny line.
He went
over the board because he said this. You could have said that day one. Instead, you acted like you knew nothing about it. You acted like complete victim. You acted like, oh, no, I'm so offended. Oh, this is horrible. When the whole time you knew about all of it, except for maybe you didn't know that he was going to say the B word, but also it's hip hop and he wasn't saying the B word in a necessarily a derogatory word. It was more like a cadence thing. So, you know, whether you're into that or not, it's fine. But if it were the case, you could have just said that first. You lost all credibility. You lost me personally, who I'm a huge Swiftie. I love Taylor Swift. I think she's amazing. But that lost it for me when I was like, no, but like you could have just said that when you had your first statement. Okay. But you didn't say that.
So if I can chime in.
Yes.
It seems like we watched a game of chess.
Yes.
Kanye was like, I would like to do this. He called Taylor and she said, okay. Then she came back after that happened and she said, my move in chess, because you're seeing two master chess players here, or a group of very good chess players. Taylor came back and said, okay, well, I'm going to use this to promote my career by saying I was a victim and he was mean to me, which actually kind of makes sense that they would behind the scenes say, I'm going to say this. And then she'd be like, oh, no, I'm a victim. And that will continue their feud and make them both more popular with their own crowds and get them into the zeitgeist.
Yes.
Then Kim came in and said, you know what? I'm going to, check. I'm going to check this, maybe check and mate. Yeah. I'm going over here because I'm going to get myself famous on my own show by showing that you were full of BS. So it's like move, check, checkmate. And then even in the past, then you'll see Taylor Swift try to go, well, I'm going to block that by saying, oh no, well, I didn't know he was going to say. So each time, each group has kind of gained fame from the situation, and Taylor has used that, I believe, in future lyrics of her songs, and really tried to use that as like, oh, I was canceled. It was so she's trying to even grow her fan base and her loyal minions. So what we're really experiencing here is some master chess players. Let's not count out Kanye. Let's not count out Taylor. Let's not count out Kim. They all did their moves, used this to advance their careers, whether it was in lyrics or their shows, and build either sympathy or a following of their own right. And I can't necessarily be mad at anyone for being smart enough to, how can we spin up fans, win allegiances, and it's kind of like Democrats versus Republicans. They're both trying to solicit popularity, donations, fans, money, whatever it may be. They both did a great job here. So, I give them applause. I see where you are unhappy that Taylor played the Boo Hoo Is Me card and got called out for it. And you're like, you can't call Boo Hoo Is Me and then Boo Hoo Is Me again when you were clearly playing the game and you were in on it.
Right. So here is a thing, because I was willing to let it go. I was willing to let it go until the Tortured Poets Department came out. There's a song called Thank You, Amy. And in the lyrics, or in the title, Taylor actually capitalizes the word Kim, making sure that everyone knows that this song is literally about Kim Kardashian.
Okay.
Making sure that there's no doubt about it, that it's about Kim, whatever. It's her feud.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. Kim Kardashian, now we know, was married to a person who is an actual psychopath. Like, Kanye was completely abusive. He was not a good person. We know that she was under duress the entire time of their whole marriage. And if you are going to be a feminist, and if you are going to be somebody who stands up for other women, and you're a girl's girl, why are you, several years after their divorce and after, you're going after Kim? You could have spelled out Kanye, because she proved that when she got called out for it. When she got called out for it, in subsequent albums, she capitalized the word Kanye instead of Kim.
Mm-hmm.
But Kim was her first target. Why?
I'll chime in.
Why?
I'll chime in. I think Kim, if you could call anyone played this dirty, it's Kim.
What?
Kanye starts off.
What?
Yes. Kanye starts off and calls, like, say I'm Kanye, and I said, hey, I'm going to write a song about you, and I'm going to be real mean. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, yeah, no, that's cool. Okay. You're going to be real mean to me. So when you're real mean to me, you go, okay, well, then I'm going to go to the crowd and be like, oh, he's so mean to me. I can't believe he did that, right?
Yeah.
But you're both playing along. It was Kim that went ahead and out of nowhere made you look like a jerk by saying, they're pretending. That's not even real. It's a fake feud. Kim betrayed the trust of their fake feud. Kim is the bad guy here.
You think they both were in on the fakeness? And that's why Taylor's so mad at Kim instead of Kanye?
Yes, she was the one who said, you know what? I'm going to use this to promote my own my Snapchat. I'm going to use it to promote my own reality show. I'm going to blow the doors off the fact that you two are having a fake feud.
It was Kim that broke.
It was Kim the whole time. Yeah, she was the one.
And that's why she's so mad. Like, no, we had a thing. Like,
yeah,
Taylor and Kanye.
We had a call that we were going to feud, and then you were like, they had a call that they were going to feud. Yeah, no, you're the jerk. You went ahead and told everyone. I am not necessarily a Swiftie or Taylor Swift fan, but I believe that she feels betrayed by Kim because they had a secret feud, and Kim was like, here's the tape of them discussing their secret feud. That's on Kim. I wouldn't be surprised if Kanye was a little miffed about it.
Wow.
He's like, we were having a secret feud. Why did you put my tapes on the air? I don't think Kanye would have been very happy about that. Kim was the bad guy.
That's a take. That is a take. And
that blew her mind.
Honestly, that makes more sense to me. But I still feel like overall...
just move on.
a 35-year-old woman should not be writing out like in lyrics like Kim is the bully. Like no, like
that's what she does. That's her whole like.
Oh my god, I want to like her so much. I love her music. I love her music, and I really, really do. But also, as a grown ass woman, like I can't go with you there. I know. I'm sorry. Like I can't go with you there, and I need you to do better. And I would like to see Taylor Swift just like mature, just like.
I think if Taylor Swift has
that's all.
anger with somebody in this, yeah, she's like, no, like we had a fake feud. Why would you put that on blast?
Okay, all right.
Okay, so topic number 2.
Speaking of
15 minutes in, topic number 2. These are hot.
This is wild. Okay, so speaking of feuds, my next thing that I think where Taylor has gotten it wrong, we will talk specifically like, and this is kind of like an overarching theme, but when in I think it was 2022, she re-released Taylor's version of Red. She re-released a 10-minute version of All Too Well. All Too Well is like one of the best breakup songs of all time. It has some like epic lyrics. I think that's one that I would like to do with you where we just go through and you hear it for the first time and react.
Okay. So folks, as a pause, make sure to click that subscribe button. Leave us some comments. The likes really do help us in the algorithm, and let us know. Amy wants me to listen to some Taylor Swift songs for the first time. We can listen to it with you, and I'll give my initial reaction to having never heard a lot of Taylor Swift music.
So some of the lyrics are absolutely mind-blowing. They are haunting. They are incredible. And it's got that redheaded girl from Stranger Things. Mm-hmm. We all like her. She's in the music video. I'm going to look her up while you talk. Yeah, right? She's in the music video. Very fun. So, re-release of this song. It should be for the Swifties. It should be for whatever. But instead, it turned into this vicious thing where everyone was just attacking Jake Gyllenhaal. We all know that song's about Jake. We were there. I lived in Nashville at the time. I was there. It was rare. Like, we were,
So Taylor Swift used to date Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes.
She wrote a song about their pseudo relationship. They dated.
Yes.
And then she re-released it.
Yes. So
well, they dated, but right. I don't know if they were in a heavy relationship. They were together for a little bit of time, right?
True. It was an autumn romance. It was a thing.
How long were they together?
A few months. Okay. And
the redhead's name was Sadie Sink, by the way.
Sadie Sink. And basically, there's a whole thing in the song about a scarf, and it's a metaphor for virginity, and it gets messy, right?
Okay.
The 10-minute version really, really just like lays into Jake. I mean, it's rough. Mm-hmm. It's great. It's a beautiful piece of art. And I'm not ever saying that somebody shouldn't write about their real life experiences or write about what's true to them or anything like that. However, the internet and the Swifties went crazy on Jake, and I cannot imagine. This is like a decade later. Mm-hmm. Like, he was like 29 at the time, and now he's in his mid-40s. Like, could you imagine in your mid-40s, all of a sudden you wake up one day and all of the comments on your Instagram, your social media, your Facebook, everything is just people attacking you and calling you the worst things, and just like you're getting death threats in your inbox and all kinds of stuff.
I think you muted the wrong word.
I did. I realized that was not the word I was supposed to mute.
Don't say the D word.
I don't think it's a good. You got them in your inbox.
They're saying
you get
what
things.
I'm saying.
They're saying mean things. Awful things. And I've seen that over and over and over again with ex-boyfriends of Taylor. And, that's a thing that I think, honestly, that she's been criticized for in the past.
If I may give some exposition.
Yeah. Taylor
Swift and Jake Gyllenhaal dated for 3 months in 2010. They were first linked together when they're spotted in New York on outings, and it included Swift's family Thanksgiving. The relationship ended in early January, with sources saying it just fizzled out over the holidays. He was 9 years older than her. Mm-hmm. She had turned 21.
20 to 29.
And he was 29.
Yeah.
So there was a 9-year gap.
Yeah. So, anyway. A lot of Taylor Swift's criticism sometimes comes from she dates too many people or she writes songs about her exes. I am not here to criticize that, because you do your girlfriend. That's great. You should be dating a lot of people in your early teens and 20s and finding out the right person for you. That's absolutely incredible. You should also, the same as any man would do, the same as any person does, the same as Shakespeare does. You draw upon your real life experiences to create your art. And she's created some amazing art. So not mad at that at all. What I am a little bit bothered by is when you see the droves of people on the internet, all the Swifties just attacking Jake Gyllenhaal. And then we saw that again with John Mayer. And then we've seen that again over and over and over again, even with Harry Styles. And we've seen it again with, oh my goodness, from Matty Healy from the 1975. Oh, I felt so bad for him. Like, I couldn't even see, like, I like the 1975. And when I saw that he was engaged, I couldn't see a single post that was not flooded with comments from Swifties talking mad, bad things, not just about him, but about the girl that he got engaged to, which is absolutely horrible. Like, could you imagine, like, if you just, like, got engaged to somebody and you're just a random girl, and everyone's just flooding the comments being like, you'll never be Taylor Swift, you're not hot, you're not good enough, you're not whatever. Like, that's so mean and so horrible. And granted, that's not Taylor's fault. However, Taylor has said little to absolutely nothing ever when people, when her fans have been sicked on people.
Yeah.
In fact, I think that she's passively encouraged these things. She has such a parasocial relationship with her fans. She's commenting on Tumblr. Like, she's commenting directly to fans. She's, like, having fans over to her house for dinner. You can't say, like, don't be mean.
Yeah.
Like, even one time. I think the only time I've ever seen her even say anything close to that was in 2023, which was like a year and a half after Jake Gyllenhaal literally was, like, doing a GQ magazine being like, please stop bullying me.
Yeah.
I'm 45. Like, stop. You know? So she had one slight comment one time just being like, hey, this is a song I wrote when I was 19. Don't be mean to anyone on the internet. That's the most she's ever said.
So you think she needs to call off the dogs. And this article here says, in short, fans often see Jake as the villain of Taylor's Red era, and he remains a recurring character in Swiftie culture, half ex-boyfriend, half meme. There's a lot of memes about him. So there is a lot of hate for Jake Gyllenhaal, who dated her for 3 months in New York now 16 years ago.
I know. Could you imagine?
Calm down.
Could you imagine somebody that you dated for 3 months 16 years ago, and you just wake up one day
are writing poetry about them,
and the entire internet is just, like, piling on you? No, I think that Jake deserves an apology. I think that even Matty Healy, smallest man in the world, as he might be, deserves some sort of protection. And I think that there's no reason at all. I literally saw today Cardi B won her lawsuit, and the first thing she said was, hey, I don't want my fans saying anything to my opposition. I don't want you guys talking bad about her. I don't want you guys body shaming her. I don't want you guys finding her friends, family, or anything. That's not appropriate. If you do that, you're not my fan. Why can't Taylor do that?
Yeah,
like,
she is
literally,
a big
why
voice.
can't Taylor do that?
So, in a 2022 Esquire interview, Jake says he doesn't begrudge anyone for writing from personal experience.
Great.
And he emphasizes it's about Taylor's relationship with her fans and not him. He mentioned he turned off Instagram comments when backlash and jokes from his from fans spiked. It has nothing to do with me. It's about her expression. Artists draw from their personal life and inspiration. I don't begrudge anyone for that. He emphasized he doesn't hold any negative feelings towards Taylor. Yeah, if I dated somebody 15 years ago and their new friends are still, like, throwing barbs at me,
what on earth?
At some point, what is wrong with the person that I used to date that I'm still part of their world? Like, how much did I break that person that we were together for 3 years?
Right.
Right? If somebody's talking about me 15 years later.
3 months. months and you're still and I think the thing is like Taylor is trying to say that like
She's
oh,
an artist. She can have something to sing about. That's fine. But you need to tell
Right.
your fans, don't pick on Jake Gyllenhaal over this.
Exactly. Thank you.
Or his new girlfriend.
And that is
So she got it wrong.
Yes. She got it wrong because you should be calling off these fans. That should not be an issue. Your fans should never be in a gray area whether or not they think that is defending you and something you want or something you don't want. They should absolutely know for sure in black and white that you do not want that. And she has not done that, and that would say that Taylor got that one wrong.
With that being said, on our first topic regarding Kim and Kanye, I believe Kim got it wrong. On this one, I believe Taylor got it wrong.
Okay, all right. Okay, so tiebreaker, third.
Number 3, let's see.
So
I'm acting as judge now, and you can be a judge in the comments after you click subscribe and the notification bell.
I think this is going to be the most controversial one because this deals with Taylor having her masters sold out from underneath her, and she re-recorded them very famously.
So what are masters?
So basically the rights to her first 6 albums, all the way from her debut album, self-titled Taylor Swift, all the way up to Reputation. Those 6 albums were done with Big Machine Records, owned by Scott Buscetta. And those albums all, were part of Taylor's deal that the masters and the rights to all of those records, except for the songs she wrote, she had some songwriting credits, but basically the songs themselves were owned by the record label. So when Taylor kind of grew up and she wanted to go off and she wanted to go to Universal, she wanted to go to a different record company, and Big Machine was kind of in some financial trouble and they wanted to sell, we had some issues.
Can I read what the internet says about this?
Yes.
This is their recap.
Yes.
Scott Borchetta, did I say that right?
That's what I don't know.
Okay, Scott Borchetta, founder of Big Machine Records, signed Taylor Swift as a young artist and held onto the master recordings for her first 6 albums. As her contract neared its end, Swift sought to purchase the masters, but Borchetta's terms required her to sign a multi-album deal first, terms she found unacceptable.
Right.
In 2019, Borchetta sold Big Machine, including Taylor's masters, to Scooter Braun, Ithaca Holdings. Swift publicly condemned the sale, calling it a betrayal and calling Braun incessant manipulative bully, noting she found out about the sale when she was announcing, when it was announced to the world.
Right.
Okay. So Swift's response to re-recording the catalog was re-recording her catalog. In response, Taylor began re-recording her first 6 albums, releasing them as Taylor's version. This allowed her to reclaim control, owning new masters. These re-recordings were a resounding commercial and critical success, amplifying her artistic autonomy and igniting controversy over artist rights. So she's like, oh, I don't own those albums anymore. So she was just like, I'm going to sing them again and now own the new versions.
Do you know who gave her that idea? Fun fact, Kelly Clarkson. Kelly Clarkson was just immediately like
just rewrite
Taylor,
it. Just sing them again.
just do it again. And
That's
she's
not
like,
the first
you know
time
what?
that's been done, I'm sure.
All right, let's do it.
In May 2025, Swift announced she had purchased back the actual masters, including music videos, concert footage, album art, unreleased material, and more from Shamrock Holdings, the firm that acquired them from Braun. She emphasized that the deal gave her full autonomy over her catalog with no strings attached. So she owns everything.
Yes. So congratulations to her. And that was obviously always her goal. And it's amazing. However, I know while most of the world applauded all of Taylor's business decisions, and I have to say, they were savvy. However, I think she got some of this wrong. And here is my point. Scott Borchetta offered her a deal, basically. Borchetta basically being that every album that, you can buy back each one of your albums if you do another album for us. We want you to obviously stay at Big Machine Records. That's you're the only thing we got going for us. Like, I think they got like Little Big Town or like some other, like, but they got nothing, We want you to stay with us. And the way that we're going to do that is kind of like coax you in, being like, you can buy back each one of your records if you do another album with us. And Taylor said, no, thank you. Now, here's where it gets dicey, because none of us know exactly what went down or exactly what the truth is. But it seems like, to me, I think the most plausible explanation is Taylor didn't really have the money or didn't really want to spend $300 million at the time on buying her entire catalog. However, Scooter Braun, who does this for a living, and his whole thing is buying and selling record companies and record labels, had the money. So he bought that for Ithaca Holdings, and I think that Taylor took that as a serious affront. And that probably goes back to some dicey drama where Scooter Braun was the manager of Kanye West during that feud that we talked about earlier. So Taylor said that she was at the hands of Scooter's incessant manipulation for years and years and years. But you know what? She didn't really have any receipts for that. I don't think Scooter actually, I've looked at it. I don't think Scooter actually did, if he did, Taylor certainly didn't let us know. She just accused him of bullying her for years and years and years and being manipulative for years and years and years. She never really provided any receipts of that. Like, best case scenario, it was just some sort of loose relationship with, like, Justin Bieber and Kanye West. I don't know, maybe. I think for Scooter Braun, this wasn't some sort of weird bullying or power play or anything like that. It was just a good business deal. It just made sense. That's what he does for a living.
Yeah.
And he made a business deal. Scott sold to Scooter because Scooter had the money and Scooter was willing to do that. And as far as like Taylor, obviously there's also like some weird, who knows about, like, did Taylor know about the sell or not? I think at one point, Scooter was like, no, like, Taylor's dad knew. Like, they all knew. Like, they all knew if Taylor's dad and management team didn't tell her, maybe that's on them, but that's not on us. It wasn't like we were trying to, like, blindside her in front of the world. I don't know if that's true or not, like, who knows? But I think the whole point is that at the end of the day, it sounds like Scott, who had been a father figure to Taylor, and Taylor kind of made Scott really, really, really rich, if you think about it. She was his entire record company. Obviously, he put a lot into her as well. So there was a mutual...
They both made a lot of money off each other.
Yeah, there was a mutual beneficial relationship going back and forth between the two of them. But that's where that trust lies. Where I think Taylor got it wrong is that publicly, she didn't go after Scott. We never really hear about Scott. Like, no one even, like, we're not even talking about that. We're instead talking about Scooter, who I think didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
He bought a business. That's what he does. He buys businesses all the time, all day, every day. He's already sold those to Shamrock Holdings, and then Taylor bought them back. Like, it's a business deal. It's something that he does all day, every day. I don't understand for the life of me why Taylor made this about Scooter in particular. And if anything, she should have explained more why she was so hurt by Scooter. And I think if you go back and you listen to Folklore and Evermore, a lot of those songs that kind of deal with these like metaphors of divorce, it's obviously coded in this feud that she has with Scooter and all of the hurt that she had, or not Scooter, excuse me, Scott Borchetta. But why did she put out on Tumblr that everyone should just be mean to Scooter Braun? Right. Like, she sicked her fans on this man, and I just don't get it. I don't get the feud. I don't get the feud at all. And I don't get the feud, again, why clearly she could have bought these things, but didn't like the price. Yeah. So she didn't buy them. And I know that I am not even I'm not even on the same scale as Taylor at all. But all day long as a content creator, I literally sell the rights to my creative work to people all day long, every day, for cash up front.
Yeah.
That's what Taylor did.
That's what she did.
That's what Taylor did.
She didn't though. She didn't, because even when Scooter Braun owned her recordings, the masters, she still made 20%. So she was not poor. When Scooter Braun owns it, when other people own it, they own the masters, but she still gets a percentage off of every sale.
Yeah.
So if they sold $1 billion worth of her music, she still makes $200 million that year. And she was making significant money off that. But when she buys the masters, now she controls it and she makes 100% of the revenue off of that. So if she is going on tour, instead of, oh, hey, buy my album here, and someone goes, well, okay, but I'm only making 20% off that. Now she says, buy my album here. She makes 100% off that. So it really, if she knows that she's going to be spending a lot of money on tours and things going on, she would much rather make 100% of all the album sales from all the promotion and advertising. So with the masters, sometimes if somebody stops promoting you and you're still out there hustling, they can just kind of make money off your back. So if you buy those masters, now suddenly you're making all the money and they can't coast. Not to say whether or not Scooter Braun or anyone was coasting or if they're still promoting. Usually a company, and I've been reading up on the numbers as best I can while you talk, usually a company, they're going to want to sell those, so they're making deals with movies, and they're trying to get you coverage and trying to get you airplay, and trying to get you out there. They're not
trying to shelve those things. It's mutually beneficial to have them out there.
And when, if you're on Spotify and you make 3 cents a play, you're only going to make a fraction of that if you don't own the masters. You're making 20% of 3 cents a play, or some sort of negotiated amount, where now she's making the entire 3 cents a play. So the more she grows and gets bigger, the more sense it has for her to go ahead and spend the $300 million, which is what she spent to buy those masters.
Yes, totally agree with you. I understand why.
So it's a good business play.
No, it's a great business play. And she obviously
She's a smart business person.
She bought those eventually from Shamrock Holdings after she re-recorded a lot of the masters and made a ton of money with the Taylor's versions of the albums that had extra songs from that era, extra album art and videos and all that kind of stuff. However, here is where I kind of think Taylor got it wrong. And I'm not saying she got it wrong from a business standpoint, but almost a little bit for me, she kind of lost me a little bit because I think that she manipulated with business in a way that, maybe a man would do it. You're right. Like maybe somebody else would do it. But I don't think it was necessarily honest.
Sure. Because she used her fans as a weapon in the negotiation.
She weaponized her fans in the negotiation, and
that's not right.
And instead of realizing like, oh, I don't have the money to buy this right now, or I don't want to buy it at that price, she tried to devalue the price so she could rebuy it. And I mean, maybe that's a mastermind of business. Like maybe that's great. Maybe you can be proud of that, but also don't weaponize your fans.
Right.
And the narrative that she told was that these men are owning the art that I wrote in my bedroom when I was 16. And it's so sad.
And they also went and sold it and promoted it and gave her all the money up front to produce it. And they probably were the sound engineers.
And made her a billionaire.
It was it was their company that was the sound engineers. Right. She didn't sit back completely and do every piece of that by herself. She had help.
And she didn't tell that part of it. She told the part of it that was, I was a poor teenager writing lyrics in my bedroom, and now these grown men own this thing that I want to own, and it's so sad. And I just think, like, that's not fair. That's not what happens.
Again, we have a master chess player here.
Yeah.
And I believe... excuse me, that she plays the part of, I'm an innocent girl who's a victim, which is part of why people like listening to her.
Yeah.
However, in reality, she's a savvy, shrewd business person, billionaire. So we have to respect both that there's this character she plays that's like, oh no, they're so mean to me and they're stealing But in
Stealing
reality,
my life's work.
she
Are they?
made $1.6 billion.
Yeah.
And it was a smart business play for her to devalue the masters by releasing her own masters, make her new masters, like her own,
Re-recording them.
re-recording them, creating
and then
new
buying
masters.
the original ones.
So she can now license her own music. She can sell her own music, makes those worth less. Then when she buys those, she has a monopoly over the entire music. She can charge whatever she wants. And if somebody wants to have her song, she's not negotiating with a company. Another company isn't negotiating. She owns everything. So it was a tremendous business play on her part.
She's an absolute mastermind.
But she did manipulate her fans, it appears, to help as a bargaining chit that worked very well for her. Yeah. Is she wrong for doing that is the question mark. That's a moral question, is should she have weaponized her fans as a shrewd business person? We see other political leaders weaponizing their fans to get their way. That's exactly what a man would do. That's exactly what a business person would do. Is it right? I would be curious to hear from our fans.
I agree.
You seem to think it was inappropriate to have her fans bully people. I can see that.
I think it's smart.
I wouldn't do that.
I think it's smart.
But it was a smart business play. It worked.
It was smart. She made a lot of money. I don't think it was necessary. I don't think that, and I especially think if you're mad at Scott, like, you don't need to go after Scooter. You don't need to go after, like, potentially Scooter's marriage, like, whatever was going on. Like, you don't need to do all of that. You don't need to sick your fans on anybody ever. That is not appropriate. And ultimately, you have to be kind of honest and forthright with what your business deal actually was, and framing, licensing your content to somebody is not the same as them stealing it.
No,
it is not
she
the
didn't have
same
anything
with them.
stolen from her.
No one was stealing anything from you. That didn't happen, and I think that that's really, really unfair. And I think that that's something that sometimes artists get a little, like.
And I'll say that happens to every artist. Yeah. Every single artist has to deal with that.
People have done that.
Paul McCartney, we know the famous story where he told Michael Jackson there was money to be made in buying the masters, and Michael Jackson went out and bought the Beatles masters and outbid Paul McCartney for it. And Paul McCartney was very bitter about that. He was like, listen, I'm going to go buy my own masters. I think it's good for my career. You should do the same thing. And Michael Jackson said, I'm going to buy your masters and mine, because Michael wasn't afraid to just be in a tremendous amount of debt, and he was still making money. When Dr. Dre became a billionaire, it was because Beats and the audio library behind it sold to Apple. That audio library, it wasn't about the headphones, it was about the audio library. And it was the masters for thousands of musicians.
It started Apple Music.
But what really happened was a lot of people's masters got sold. And for an artist, when they make that deal with the devil, a company says, hey, we're going to put our backing behind you. You're going to make $60-70 million a year if this works well. But we're going to own a piece of this because we got to make money too, and we got to promote this. Right. You're going to make 10 to 20%. And that's exactly what Taylor did. When Taylor was making 10 to 20%, she was still worth $400 million.
Right. And I think that...
And she didn't have the ability to buy her masters for $300 million.
Right.
But as she grew, she's now worth $1 billion. She can buy her own masters.
And I think Taylor knew that all along. Literally, when
She's smart.
When she bought her masters, what did she say? In that famous post, she said, I've been saving up to buy these since I was a teenager. She knew that she didn't quite have the money.
It's a great business deal.
Yeah, it's wonderful. She didn't quite have the money when she was worth $400 million to buy something for $300 million. But also, she could have. So again, us as fans that are way broker than $400 million, we don't need to be going to bat for her. Yeah. Because the fact is, if she really, really wanted them, guess what? Like, you could have sold like one of your 17 mansions. You could have sold your private jet to buy these masters if you really, really wanted them. You just didn't want them at that price. Yeah. And guess what? Scooter Braun did. So you can't be mad at him.
I mean,
you
you
can't be mad at the free market.
Scooter Braun bought the company. So it's like she was negotiating with one person, then someone bought the company, and now she's negotiating with a different person. nothing happened. It was just the owner of the company changed. You know, like that
Right.
wasn't anything.
Yes.
And then the new person still sold her probably at a better deal than the original person would have.
Right. It was standard business practice.
Yeah, sometimes companies sell.
But Taylor Swift, one of the things that
Mhm.
we love about her, she is a storyteller. And sometimes being a storyteller means you're maybe
She told some stories.
telling some stories. And the story that she told was of these Titan men bullying a little girl and selling her life's work and being so mean to her and incessant bullying for years and all of these other things that, you know what, I don't know. I think that maybe Taylor got it right in the long run. If you think got it right means a great business deal.
She did. Absolutely.
But
she did it right.
Maybe I personally think that she got it wrong because she lost some credibility with me because I just don't trust any of that.
Yeah. She made a pretty penny off this, and I think it was probably a smart idea to not buy the masters when she did.
Yeah.
She was still earning royalties off of it.
Yeah.
And she used the money that she would have bought her masters with to launch her tours.
Yes.
Which made her a lot of money. And then with the tours, she used that money to buy the masters, which then made her tours more profitable. So the next year, she went from 1.1 billion to 1.6 billion. So she made $500 million because all of that money from the promotion going into the tour was going straight into her bank account. Every time somebody paid for a digital download, every piece of that, except probably what went to Apple Music or the streaming service, went literally into her bank account.
They bought all of the Taylor's versions. All of her fans, because they felt a loyalty to her. They felt like they were...
and once she bought both, she made 100% off both.
Yeah.
So she did well.
Yeah.
And I feel...
So up or down, who, like, I feel like the first one, you said Taylor. Taylor was fine. It was Kim.
Kim. Taylor. This one's questionable.
What's your thing?
I think she's a great business person, so I'm not mad at her.
You are into business and you love it, and
she needs to stop calling her fans into action, but yeah.
I respect her business savvy, but I would say that I'm a Swiftie, but I'm not a Swiftie that's going to be like sicked on anybody for something that I feel like is unfair. And I feel like this one is like, I call BS. I don't think that's fair. I will absolutely love to listen to your re-recordings because I want to see your more mature voice doing these songs that you did at 20, now at 32. Like, that's great. That's amazing. Yeah. I want to see the new intellectual property, the new album art, and even the new videos, and even that 10-minute version of All Too Well. Sorry, Jake Gyllenhaal. I still want to see it. It's good. It's good stuff.
Right. All right, folks. Leave us your comments, your opinions, and who's the bad guy here. I have a feeling they're going to say it's me. Thanks, folks. Love you guys. Bye.